the first step we're going to look at to solve this general equilibrium problem is to start with the firm. So let's start with firm 1. So the first firm problem is trying to solve is they're trying to maximize price times the amount that they produce, price times quantity, minus their costs to hire labor and capital, and they're producing good X. Right? So now we can plug in what we have for our production function. So we have Px times Lx to the 1/2, capital to the 1/2, minus wages times labor, minus rent times capital. Okay, we're going to go to our first order conditions here. Our first order condition is first we're going to get 1/2 Px, Lx to the negative 1/2, Kx to the 1/2, minus W equals 0. Our second first order condition is very similar, 1/2 Px, Lx to the 1/2, capital to negative 1/2, minus rent is equal to 0. So now I'm going to divide these two, and what it's going to lead to is, it looks really nasty, but the halves are going to cancel out, the prices are going to cancel out. We have capital and labor very close, is we're going to get capital of X divided by the labor of X is equal to the ratio of wages to rent. All right, now typically we might try to solve here is the optimal amount of labor and capital, but this example has constant returns to scale. And so as long as they're able to input more capital or more labor, their profits are going to continue to maximize. There's not a maximum amount of labor and capital that will maximize the profits with this example. So that's where we're going to go. Is we have now here, I'm going to highlight this. This is our relationship between capital and labor as a function of wages and rents. Right, now we're going to come back to our production function. Our production function we have looks like this. I can then solve for capital and plug it back in. So I want to solve this equation for capital and plug that back in here for capital so that I can find an optimal equation for labor as a function of wages and rents and quantity. So to do that, is to solve for capital. That means that capital is equal to Qx squared over Lx. As I plug that back in, I get Qx squared over Lx times 1 over Lx. Again, that's coming from this part of the equation right here, is equal to wage over rents. I then solve for the optimal amount of Lx. And here's where I'll get Lx, not squared, but Lx star. There will be a square term, I'll have to take a square root, is equal to Qx times the ratio of rents wage raised to the 1/2, or the square root of those. Now I can plug this back into this equation here and now solve for the optimal capital. And doing that, I will get the capital for X is equal to something similar, the quantity of X, but now it's the ratio of wage to rent to the 1/2 power. And so now I have solved, put a box around this, an equation for the optimal amount of labor and capital that the firm demands to maximize profits as a function of how much they want to produce and the ratio of wages and rent. So that's what we have there. Now let's go ahead and let's find the total cost function of this firm. So if we find the total cost of X is going to equal the amount we pay for labor and the amount we pay for capital. Well, we just solved for LX and KX. So we're going to plug these numbers into here to get an equation of total cost. And so that means we'll get W times, and we'll just enter the numbers in. We won't do that next step. But then as I solve those out, I will find that total cost of X is 2QX RW to the 1/2. And that should fall out fairly quickly from the previous example. All right, so this is what we get for the first firm that is producing X. All right, if we zoom out, we can see that there. The same is going to be true for firm 2 producing Y. And we'll follow those exact same steps to find that the optimal amount of labor is equal to QY R over W to the 1/2, and the optimal amount of capital is equal to QY W over R to the 1/2, and that the total cost of Y is 2QY RW to the 1/2. By symmetry, that works. So we're going to pause right there for the producer. So we've identified the optimal amount of labor and capital that the producer demands from the consumers for both goods 1 and 2. Now let's turn our attention to the consumer. Okay, so the consumer is trying to solve the idea. They're trying to maximize their utility that they get from consuming both X and Y, such that income is equal to the price of X, X, plus price of Y, Y. But one thing to note is, well, where does their income come from? So they're not endowed with income. What they're endowed with is labor and capital. So this is where we're going to get this equation, is that income is equal to the wages that they can charge for their initial endowment plus the rent they can charge for their initial capital. That's what's going to be their income. And so with this, we can then set up the Lagrangian where they are going to maximize their utility, which is log X plus log Y plus lambda. And now instead of income, we're going to have WL bar plus RK bar. That's their income equation, minus PXX minus PYY. And again, here is L bar and K bar are givens. They're parameters given through the initial endowment. So that is our Lagrangian. Let's go ahead and set up our first order conditions. Let's take the derivative with respect to X. We'll get 1 over X minus lambda PX equals 0. The second derivative with respect to Y, we'll get 1 over Y minus lambda PY equals 0. And we'll take a third first order condition where we'll get the budget constraint, that income minus how much they consume is also equal to 0. So those are our 3 first order conditions. We'll divide the first by the second, and this will give us, eventually we can solve it for y over x is equal to p of x over p of y. All right? And so then this implies that x is equal to y py px. This is what we're going to plug into the third first order condition. And solving that out, we can find that y star is equal to their income over 2 times px. And this shouldn't look too foreign. In a sense, in a Cobb-Douglas, we get this is income over 2px, which is exactly what we have right here. So that shouldn't be too foreign for us there. We can then look at what x star is the same thing, income based on their initial endowments times PX. And that leads me to a correction real quick. This here should be PY. All right, so there we have our initial demand for consumers. All right, and so what we want is, well, how do we solve this? Is there a way that we can look at the prices here? Well, this is where we base our model. We know our model is based off perfect competition. So as a result, in perfect competition, so if we have perfect competition, then what we remember from Econ 110 or from principles is that price is equal to marginal cost. So here I have a price. So is there a way that I can substitute in a marginal cost? And the answer is absolutely. So this is where we're going to turn to the firm's total cost function. And the total cost of X, as we showed, was 2QX RW to the 1/2. Now I can take the partial derivative of this with respect to quantity, and that's going to equal my marginal cost of X, which is equal to 2 RW to the 1/2. And then I can set that equal to P of X. And so this is what I'm going to substitute into my demand equation, or my optimal quantity. But actually, we probably should put that into, since that's price of X, into the actual price of X. So there we go. And what this does is it's going to give us an X value as a function of wages and rents in our initial endowment and no other variables. So doing this, and I can do the same thing for Y, I'll get X double star is going to equal to my income divided by 4 RW to the 1/2. And Y double star is equal to something similar, for RW to the 1/2. And so now we've solved for the optimal quantity that the consumers are going to demand of X and Y, which the firm is going to produce. Right? Now let's go to our market clearing conditions. Right? So that's what we have for the consumer. Right? So if we go to our market clearing conditions, what we know from our market clearing conditions is that the demand for labor has to equal the supply of labor. So we know that the demand for labor is equal to what we found for LX star and add up for how much is for firm Y. So this is QX times RW to the 1/2 plus QY RW to the 1/2. Now, we have this QX and QY. We want to put X double star in for our optimal quantity and Y double star for this. And that's the market clearing condition, that the quantity supplied by the firm is equal to the quantity demanded by the consumer. And so that's going to lead us to something that's going to start really hairy, but as you work it out, it's going to get to the stage of LR plus RK for W plus the same thing, which means that the labor demand is equal to the income times twice the wage. And now we're going to use our market clearing condition. Well, the labor supply is equal to L bar. So now here I have an equation of L bar as a function of W and R. So I'm going to solve for wages. And what I get from this equation is the optimal wage is equal to capital K bar over L bar. So from here, what we can do is we can normalize that R is equal to 1. And if we do that, then our optimal wage is the initial endowment of capital over the initial endowment of labor. And so if we're given those in the problem, we can simply just put those in. So now that we've solved for wage and we've normalized R, almost all of our other equations are a function of wages, rent, and then the initial endowment, which is given. So now that we've solved for that, we can use this to solve for the optimal quantities. We can use those to solve for the optimal amount of labor and capital. And so that's the key step, is to know what wages and rent is to be able to solve. We can also solve for prices because we know that marginal cost of X is equal to the price of X. But we know that the marginal cost of X is a function of R and W. And so this is simply going to break down to 2 over the ratio of the initial capital of labor and capital and labor to the 1/2. So if the problem gives us the capital labor, we can then find what our optimal price is. We can do the same thing for the optimal price of Y, and it's going to get us the exact same ratio based on the example that we used. And now that I have optimal price and that, I can then find my optimal X's. Right? I can use this information, again, as we pointed out, to solve for X's and solve for optimal quantities. And that's how we can do a full example of a linear program where we're solving for optimal quantities and optimal inputs and optimal prices in a general equilibrium example with production.